Hey guys, welcome back. This is Dave from mygunvalues.com. First thing here out of the box, I want to apologize for not being any videos up for the last few weeks. I've been dealing with a little problem. My father passed away and had to go back and do with that. He lived in Ohio. And so before we get to the subject of today's video, I wanted to spend a few minutes on my dad. Probably not real politically correct, but I'm going to do it anyway. Besides, if we own guns, we're not politically correct anyway, right? Not in today's world. Anyway, Dad was a postman for 46 years. He just retired 3 years ago. And for those of you who might be struggling with this, he was also a diabetic since before I was born. And his idea of controlling his diabetes was, well, I want a Milky Way, so I'll take 2 extra units of insulin. And over the years, it took its toll. You know, he lost both legs below the knee. His eyes had to be surgically done once. He went into kidney failure once. And finally, at age 70, his heart just gave out. For what he might have lacked in self-control, he made up for taking care of the family. There's, let's see, there's 4 children, 10 grandchildren, 14 great-grandchildren, and 3 great-great-grandchildren. And all but 5 were there at the funeral, and 2 of those were unable to be there due to health reasons themselves. And he took care of the family, and for those of you who's read our blog articles and our newsletter, you do know that all of us here at mygunvalues.com are Christians, and Dad was a 40-year member of the same church. I have no doubt in my mind he was saved, and he went to bed one night and just didn't get up the next morning. But when he died, he actually died with a little grin on his face, and I'll always believe it was because he saw the angels coming to take him home. I believe that now, and I'll believe that my entire life, or what's left of my life. So that's why we haven't posted any videos. You know, just been dealing with a family issue. So the subject of today's video, actually, we're going to continue along this theme of the tribute to my dad. This actually belonged to my dad's dad, my grandfather, and then it passed to my dad, and then it passed from Dad to me. And Dad actually gave this to me a few years ago, but you know, because it was his and then became mine, I thought this would be a fitting tribute. Dad wasn't a gun guy. He had a couple, 3 guns. In fact, he had a pistol that I didn't bring it back this time. My stepmom wasn't ready to let anything go, and I don't blame her. But one day, when I get his pistol here, we'll do a video on that. But we'll take this out of its case. As you can tell, the canvas case isn't in the best shape. You can tell already, it's side by side, 12 gauge, smooth bore barrels. Okay, set the case out over here. Okay, what we have here is a Stevens, and the model number of it is a Springfield. That's the only model. No numbers, no anything else. It's simply a Springfield shotgun. Breaks down and goes together easy enough. Simply lock the barrels in. Grab your forearm here. Lock her in and she's together. Okay, a few things about it. This gun, I'll give you the the basics first here. It's got 30-inch barrels. Most Springfields that I've ever seen have a solid rib between the barrels, plain pistol grip stock, and that's something that can cause confusion. I'll spend a few seconds on here. When we're talking about a pistol grip stock here at mygunvalues.com, this is what we mean. It's got the slight swell here, the beginnings of a pistol grip. If we say it's a full pistol grip, then you can think of an AR-15 where it's got the full handle down here, or a similar gun like that. So that's the difference. When you see that listed, that's what we're describing. This is just technically a pistol grip. It's got a ventilated red rubber recoil pad. It's a top lever brake action. Just push it over. She opens up. It has extractors only, no ejectors. What that means is if I were to put shells in this, when I opened it, the shells would pop back a little bit, so you could grab them with your fingers and pull them out, but they wouldn't eject clear of the action. When you open and close this action, the safety here, Tang safety, automatically resets. Right now it's on safe, so if I try to pull the trigger, it won't pull. Flip it forward, and it pulls. Now you notice this one's got a single trigger. I want to spend a few minutes on that. From our research, to start off with, this gun is labeled J. Stevens Arms Company. It acquired that name in the 1920s after Savage bought the company from Westinghouse, and it stayed J. Stevens Arms Company until and it's Chicopee Falls, Massachusetts is the barrel address. It stayed that way until the original Stevens building was sold and Savage moved the company. So this gun dates from, we think, with the red rubber pad, the black line spacer, which is a form of plastic. We believe this one to probably be somewhere in the 40s or 50s. We're not positive. There's no way to date this thing that I've been able to find. But what makes this one unusual is every other Springfield I've ever seen, and I've seen maybe 2 or 3 dozen over the years, is a double trigger. You notice this one's a single trigger. This is a single inertia set trigger. The way this works is when you pull the trigger the first time, the right hand barrel fires. You pull the trigger the second time, the left hand barrel would fire. This one over the years has acquired the nasty habit of pulling the trigger and both barrels firing. Actually, it's not as bad as you think, but it still gets your attention. Dad always told me that he thought there was only 350 of this version ever made. Again, I have been able to find no documentation on this weapon even existing at all. I don't know where Dad found out that information. Dad wasn't a gun guy, so I'm assuming somebody told him that. How accurate it is, I don't know. But if anybody does know or has another single trigger Stevens Springfield, I'd sure like to know about it, because again, it can't be a common gun because I've never seen another one. So again, one of these days I'm going to have this one, when I find somebody I trust and I have the spare money, I'm going to take this one and have it fixed. So right now I've retired it. I don't shoot this gun because, you know, certain guns, they find you rather than you finding them. Because this is a family heirloom, strictly for sentimental reasons, certainly not for monetary value reasons, this gun will always be with me regardless of, you know, what it's worth, and it will pass down to my children when I die. So, you know, as far as condition goes, bluing's respectable on the barrels. A few minor little pits right here that probably don't show up real well. We got a case colored receiver, still showing some pretty good color. Buttstock's got a lot of little scratches in the finish. The butt pad's starting to deteriorate just a little bit. This gun probably would go good, maybe very good condition. If it was the double trigger model, I wouldn't value this gun at more than about $150 in this condition. Because it's the single trigger, because it is a rare gun, I would say this one's probably more in the $250 to $300. But again, I would never sell this gun in a million years, you know, just because it was Granddad's. So when you're done with it, you know, you take it out shooting or hunting or whatever. To break it down, it's real simple. There's a finger groove right here in the forearm. Pull it off. When I got it from my dad, this little lever right here had been stuck down so long that it didn't want to come up, and I actually had to take this apart and fix it. So if you ever run into that with one, that is supposed to pop up. And then you push the top lever over, open her up, break it down, and it's ready to put back in the case. It does have a serial number here of, it's a 5-digit serial number, and the numbers, let's see here. The numbers do match on it. Man, my eyeballs are getting bad anymore. Anyway, but again, this isn't a super valuable weapon by any stretch of the imagination. It's strictly a family heirloom. In the times I did shoot this gun, it tended to print just a touch right of point of aim, but with a shotgun that's not enough to make a whole lot of difference. So I want to thank you for watching. And I encourage you, if you have a comment, you know, you can post it here on YouTube, or you can contact us through the mygunvalues.com website. And we hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. And again, I'm sorry it's been so long, and we'll try to get the videos out a little more regularly now. Thank you.